Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at the Tank Museum Bovington, and today we're taking a look at the Brickmania LEGO M46 Patton kit on top of the actual M46 Patton tank. So now I'm here with David, the Tank Museum tank expert, and Cody, who designed the Brickmania kit that we have right here. So we'll start off with Cody, if you want to talk to us about how you translated this massive tank into a LEGO model.
Sure. So working at Brickmania and being one of the kit model designers, we usually start with, well, not usually, almost always start with a 1/35th scale blueprint of the actual model that we're basing it off of. And so it helps us get all the dimensions correct, helps us keep every model to scale, and it's closely to scale with a LEGO minifigure. So with this model in particular, it's basically an update of the M26 Pershing, and this is a Korean War variant with a paint scheme, and it's dressed to look up more like a tiger. So I went with a bright light orange color as much as I could. Some of the elements don't come in bright light orange, so I supplemented with a yellow color. And then we had some printed parts on the barrel here to simulate tiger stripes, as well as some stickers to incorporate that. So around the turret, on the tops of the fenders, there's stickers to simulate the tiger stripes, as well as the brick built color, like I mentioned earlier. So as you can see on the real model, there's just a tiger face, but there were different versions of the color scheme as the war went on. But a lot of the tanks were painted to look like tigers, even some of the Easy-8s that they had there as well during that war. So it was a fun model to build. I went to get wheel spacing correct was a bit difficult, especially dealing with a smaller LEGO scale. And so I flipped it upside down and built studs forward to simulate the slopes, but the sloping of the front and the back of the hull. It made a nice clean transition, got the wheel spacing correct, and I'm able to then pop the top of the tank off. Of course, there's a sticker in the front, so I can't quite pull the entire thing off without pulling the sticker off, but you can see there's some engine details that was fun to incorporate as well. And this was a model that we only made 100 of a couple winters ago. And so I kind of really went over the top with as many details as I could because I knew it probably wouldn't come back into production. And there's also, you have the ability to remove the top grate on the deck, and you can see some of the engine details like you saw a little bit earlier, and with the exhaust manifolds on top of the fenders. Sort of stretching out here, simulated with that tile, the 1x4 tiles coming out, and you can see it on the back of the tank as well. Also a barrel lock for stowage of the main gun. We tried a bit of a fabric piece, a fabric cover. That was a new thing that we had in-house to work with a couple years ago. So we tried to simulate the fabric mantlet cover as best we could, but we did also put the eyeballs as stickers underneath the mantlet, so in case you wanted the option to switch out different features.
The design colors on this tank are so impressive, and I think you captured certainly the overall look of it very nicely. So thanks for that insight into the kit. So now, David, if you want to give us maybe some of the history of this tank and how this tank served during its time in the war.
Okay. Well, I don't know exactly how this tank got here. It was never a British type, but somehow it found its way here. But the tanks themselves, this is the M47, which is the up-engine version of the Pershing in a way. It was only sent into the Korean War really to show up the Pershing, which had a Ford V8 in the back and was a little bit sluggish. But this tank had a bit of life, and I think really that was what set it up and made it such an excellent tank. It's mainly built of castings. You can see castings being used at the front of the hull, the turret and so on. It's all castings, 90mm gun up there. Also a 50 cal Browning up the top by the commander's cupola, and what looks like another mounting for a Browning a bit further forward. That maybe was put on afterwards, I don't know. I haven't seen it on all models at all. It's got torsion bar suspension, like most of the tanks of this period, and I think no reason why it shouldn't run, I don't suppose. It's no one's ever tried, but they did ask me the other day, and I don't see why it shouldn't run at all. It seems quite a good, in good condition, so no reason why not. But that's about it for the M47 anyway. Okay,
And what-
M46, I should say.
What are your thoughts on Cody's Lego model here and how he's kind of translated the details of the tank into the Lego model and kind of captured those important elements?
It looks pretty good. I come from a generation which thinks of Lego as something kids used to build houses with. They didn't have all this fancy stuff in those days, so I don't really know. But it does seem to be a pretty good model of the original vehicle. And it's obviously got some attraction. And I think also the choice of a really striking camouflage makes a tremendous difference. That's why we painted the tiger's head on the front of this one, to bring it out like the tanks that were used in Korea. They had a theory that the tiger's head would frighten the life out of the Chinese. It didn't, but they thought it might, and that's why it was painted on in the first place. So quite an effective model of quite a reasonable tank for its day. I always thought so anyway.
Yeah, thank you so much for that insight to both of you guys. Excellent Lego model, and it's so amazing to see this here next to the real tank itself. So thank you both for your insight. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn more about the museum's incredible collection of tanks, make sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel. And if you want to see more of what Brickmania has to offer, head over to brickmania.com.